This is Fountain
Every
Street
week I find
Church.
it hard to find the best ones, but somehow, like I said, you'll hear what I'm trying to say even when the words
Here,
aren't.
we strive to free the mind, grow the soul, and change the world. Here, there is freedom to doubt and freedom to believe. Here, you can find a house of prayer for all people.
The swallow up Jonah.
Welcome to Fountain Street Church. Join us on the journey.
As we gather for this hour, hear the inviting words of the 92nd Psalm. It is a joy to give thanks to the Eternal, to sing thy praise, O thou Most High, to proclaim thy goodness in the morning to the sweet music of the lyre. I sing for joy at all that thou hast done. We'll continue with our responsive prayer of thanksgiving and confession. It's printed in the bulletin. God of the universe, we thank you for this wonderful creation in which we live and breathe. Forgive us for treating our environment as if it were only for our use and disposal. God of humanity, we thank you for our own existence. Forgive us for not always acting on what we know to be right. God of knowledge, we thank you for the privilege of learning. Forgive us for not always acting on what we know to be right. God of health, we thank you for every benefit of medicine and nutrition. Forgive us for not always taking care of our own health and for not seeing others. To the infinite God who is beyond all human ability to fully comprehend, we thank you for communities of faith that seek understanding. Forgive us for assuming that our own limited concepts are complete and that others who express their faith in different ways are in error. Welcome to Fountain Street Church, a liberal religious community in downtown Grand Rapids for nearly 150 years. I'm Patrick Hamrick, a member of the clergy team here at Fountain Street Church, and I welcome you today. This marks just about the midway point in our schedule of summer services. We are pleased to welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Doug Kindschi, this morning, and all the other guests who are participating in the service today. A brief bio of Doug is printed in the bulletin. Our Social Action Committee invites you to stop by the social hall today after the service to take part in a project to share beautiful flowering plants with underserved families in our community. Social Action also reminds us that fruit and vegetables donated here on Sundays will be distributed to residents of Dégagé who often have limited access to fresh produce. Looking ahead, this Thursday at 7 p.m., Fountain Street Church will welcome Michael Moore in partnership with the Grand Rapids Public Library for a free event here in the sanctuary. Now, depending upon your theology of intercessory prayer, please consider praying for cool weather on Thursday, so that the temperature in the sanctuary will be at least tolerable. Parking will be available over in the library's lot and also in the GRCC ramp and all the other interesting little places we find to park downtown. Doug has very kindly brought some save the date cards for something very important coming up in October, and you'll find these on the door on your way out. As 2012 is the year of interfaith understanding here, we've already enjoyed over 150 events that have taken places in congregations and in the community and on campuses. And this fall, there will be a number of community-wide events culminating this very important project. And the card tells us about this, and it's a reminder of the triennial Jewish-Christian-Muslim dialogue, an all-day conference It will take place on Tuesday, October 30th at the Eberhard Center on Grand Valley's downtown campus. This year's speakers include Rabbi Dr. Daniel Hartman from Jerusalem, Reverend Dr. Marilyn McCord Adams, former Regius Professor of Divinity at Oxford University, and Dr. Omid Safi, Professor of Islamic Studies at the University of North Carolina. On your way out, don't forget to take a card. We're going to continue now with 3 readings.
V'chi yigur itcha ger ba'artzachem lo tonu oto ki ezrach michem yiyeh lachem hager hagar itchem va'ahavta lo kamocha ki gerim hayitem be'eretz Mitzrayim ani Adonai Elohechem. When a stranger resides with you in your land, you shall not wrong him. The stranger who resides with you shall be to you as one of your citizens. You shall love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God.
Good morning. Is tolerance enough? The path and agenda to peace among the religions. Discussions of interfaith often begin and end. Just ended. With the issue of tolerance, and for good reason. In many places of the world and in many places throughout history, we would have been happy to have tolerance. Because the way we look, or the way our race, or our family background, or because of a religious practice, I am persecuted or discriminated against, then I will certainly call for tolerance. Unfortunately, there are places where my ability to work, to own property, to go to school are denied because of religious discrimination. There are even places where my safety is at risk, and I could be killed. There are terrorists who would think nothing of killing someone who does not believe the way they do. In such cases, tolerance is a wonderful goal. But this wouldn't happen in America, right? Well, a bit of history will help. In 1635, Roger Williams was banished from the Massachusetts Bay Colony for his religious beliefs. 3 years later, Anne Hutchinson was expelled from the Massachusetts colony for heresy. When the Quakers first arrived in Boston, they were arrested, imprisoned, and deported back because of their religion. 4 years later, Mary Dyer defied the orders of banishment from the Massachusetts colony and was executed. A few years later, 20 people were executed for witchcraft. Yes, even in the colonial period of America, religious divergence could result in death, and these were all carried out by the civil authorities. Yes, in America, there was a time when tolerance was a significant goal. Fortunately for us, there was a turning point when Thomas Jefferson and the Baptists agreed on one thing. They didn't agree on their theology. They were very different in theology. But Jefferson did agree with their right to worship in their own way. He defended that right and their practice, and drafted the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom in 1779, which became the basis for our country's Bill of Rights. The First Amendment states, Congress will make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Religion is about identity, and identity excludes. There's the we and the them. And it requires boundaries to define our identity. Religion can create conflict across those boundaries. In the early chapters of Genesis, we find the first recorded act of religious worship, the sacrifices of Cain and Abel, which was followed by the first recorded murder. Cain kills Abel. It is a warning that the misuse of religion can lead to violence, and it's a warning we all need to be aware of.